All right, I got the recording going, so I'm ready when you are.
Sweet. I'll just start on scout here.
All right.
Although your
Um,
attacker had 97,000 health remaining.
yeah, a little different like that. Okay, so Gullywash. I will start with the rollouts.
Okay.
So for mid fights on Gullywash, there's typically two ways to kind of take them. Um, that being you going to their side, which is considered kind of the aggressive mid fight, or you just playing on your side, which is I strongly recommend it's your default. It's most teams' default. It's just kind of like the like rotate left on process, kind of like the safer mid fight, where you kind of play spam and then it's less high risk, high reward. The other side is definitely high risk, high reward.
Okay.
So for your rollout, you're gonna get demo buffed here. He's gonna do his little jump. You're gonna buff him again. I already showed Kiwi the demo rollout.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Your soldier can roll out just rocket here, another rocket here, and then they can come late through choke. That'd be your roamer, or alternatively they can come down here, jump here, and then your pocket soldier will get a buff here, and then they'll be here as well. And usually at this point, I as roamer like to bomb like down here and try to stand somewhere here and just put some early spam into their medic
Oh, I didn't know you
from
could
through
shoot
here.
through that.
I did not know about that either.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's good for like early spam, very safe spam, so you're not taking a lot of damage. Because most meds, like your med included, should be essentially getting the beam. Here, I'll go over the whole scout med thing. So it's the same as kind of the pocket soldier. So both scouts, pocket soldier, and medic are going to be doing the same thing. Your pocket soldier is going to shoot himself, so he gets low and he can run fast with the pickaxe. Your scouts and med are going to go somewhere along like this. Your med's beaming your scouts, so they get the scout speed. Right about here, I would put your pickaxe away if you're the pocket soldier. And then just kind of waddle forward. You get an arrow, and then you'll get buffed, and then you'll go to healing your scouts again. And the idea is you want your med to climb up here as fast as possible.
okay. As little time on the low ground as possible.
Yeah, because
Okay.
if you're standing here for a long time,
You're just
A,
asking
you're
to
going to
get.
eat a lot of spam, and B, yeah, you don't really have anywhere to surf to if you do get bombed. So you got to be really careful with that.
Okay.
Um, One thing to kind of keep in mind is if your medic's taking a shit ton of damage from here, like I kind of explained to Hebe as well, like as demo, you can put a stick into their med right here and another stick into their med right here. If you find that you're taking a lot of damage, just as pocket scout, kind of just like stay a little bit behind and maybe bait a little bit as medic, and then you can just like shoot the stick and then walk through.
Okay.
As pocket, I don't recommend just taking the exact same course as your medic, or else you're going to eat the exact same spam. I personally like jumping up here. You still get vision and stuff. You don't necessarily have to go through here. You can just jump through here and then just play like this normally and rate me with you. Flank scout, it's nice because you can jump up here and you can try to put early pressure in the demo and then just kind of back up and play your side. You'll usually have a few seconds where um, you're not going to be kind of contested by their whole team, and then you can back up. So, depending on how much damage you do, maybe you can commit further. If you're not really doing any damage, you obviously just back up and play default with your team. Okay, so
And then I'm assuming Pocket Scout just goes with Medic to pull him to mid faster.
yeah, so your
Okay.
pocket scout's going to be like playing right, like I said over here, and they're just going to meet up with your beam here, and then this is going to be your side mid fight, and your demo's
Okay.
going to roll out to choke here. So your demo's going to bomb from here to here, get this pack, and
Okay.
then trap their big door here, etc. And then you guys could be playing on this side. So this is a really good map
Hey,
for
kick.
um, soldiers on the mid fights. This, well, maybe not a good map for soldiers, but it's definitely a map where your soldiers can dictate the mid fight.
Okay.
Really important as soldiers that you're not taking early damage. You're trying to coordinate with your team as best as possible when to kind of push. So generally, I like having like scouts play here. You can maybe have your pocket soldier play somewhere around here, but your roamer should usually be playing lower. Like somewhere around here, they could be playing spam with the other roamer. They can kind of just be peeking like this, putting spam. And then you really want to coordinate, like, okay, my roamer says they're gonna like they hear, okay, I piped the demo, or the demo is low, or the med's low, or something. Our roamer's going to go off that damage, and it's really important that you guys are not baiting them and committing with them across the point.
Okay. So Roamer bombs, we just start moving with them.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is a very difficult point to kind of cut your losses. For example, if you go down on 2 on Sunshine or something, usually you can kind of get out before it's too chaotic. It's really difficult. There's a very fine line of you getting out because it's like obviously getting out here is just super spammy.
Big choke.
Yeah, so really like committing forward is going to be how you're going to win these mid fights. And if you can, like, you want both your soldiers to be bombing like relatively the same time. They don't necessarily need to be landing on the other team. Like as your roamer, you don't necessarily have to like land on 2 scouts. You could just bomb up to like up here or try to bomb on these crates or something, and then have your team like walk this left side to kind of split the pressure.
Okay.
While you guys are kind of doing chip damage and stuff, it's important for your demo to start trapping off one of the sides, so your scouts know like, okay, they're not going to get walked at from this side, so I can kind of peek this side a little more safe, and I don't have to worry about scouts like wrapping and just like meat shotting me here. So call what side you're trapping off as demo, and it will help your scouts a ton.
Okay.
Okay, for Pocket Soldier, you also want to be committing with the bomb, but you also don't want to be landing on the team as well. If anyone's going to land on them, it's probably going to be your roamer, unless you're doing like so much damage that you just think landing on them will, get you kills. Typically as Pocket, I like trying to just land somewhere up here, and then you can just spam down, and usually you're not going to be bullied off here as often as you would if you were to just start the mid by bombing up here. Then everyone's just going to shoot you. You kind of want to wait for your team to commit forward, and then you want to bomb up here, and you'll have that good spam. Any questions about the mid fights on your side?
Who would be watching that ramp to the left? Because I get pushed from there quite a bit.
This ramp here?
Yeah, I think we've had 2 Gullywash scrims, and in one of them, a scout would always just go up that ramp and kill medic.
I mean, first of all, if you see that like a scout, because if a scout's playing over here,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the rest of their team's going to be playing over here. So you can
Okay.
definitely like take the buff and just kind of like poke the scout out before you really worry about like these players here, because the scout's
Okay.
not going to have heals. So what you can do is you can like have your Pocket Soldier or something just like place blast around here, and just have your like flank scout also just kind of like do chip around here, and then you kind of sit with the med and watch for bombs and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but generally, like a scout here shouldn't be too much of an issue. Alternatively, if he's like playing super baity, you can just go on like the offensive here, because they're essentially going to be down a player, right?
Okay. We just have to watch from behind, basically.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, for example, I'm trying to think of a mid fight where it might be similar. On Snake Water, sometimes soldiers like to go in like the little side kitchen area, and they'll try to do like a flank and then flank you from behind in your saw. A good counter to that is like just walking forward, because you're taking a 5v6.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's kind of similar in that regards. Like, definitely don't just ignore him, but if you can just like tail a little bit and then walk forward, have your people pressure forward, and then maybe your flank scout just kind of sits behind. As long as you guys are like chimping forward together, you're going to clean up these people, because they're going to be down a scout, so your bombs are going to be like infinitely better. And then this guy's just doing nothing except for taking chip damage, so he's not even really going to be a threat.
Okay.
Any other classes? Med, you kind of want to use, like, this is a spam hell for you.
Yeah.
I like to use just kind of like around here to kind of dodge spam. You can kind of maybe juke some rockets and stuff with this ledge. But for the most part, you want to be really careful about standing too far back, or else you're not going to be able to get in the mid fight to heal people. So somewhere around here, and you can kite to this left side. Just keep in mind, the farther you kite to this left side, the more you're isolating from your scouts, and the worse off you're going to be if a soldier bombs you.
Okay.
So definitely don't want to be here too far, unless maybe they're down both soldiers or something. So definitely kind of adaptable to who's alive. But yeah, as long as you're like kind of on this high ground, you just want to be playing with your scouts, and you definitely can like go back and take this pack and stuff. Let's just make sure you're calling it for your team.
Okay.
When needed. That would be like your side mids. I can go over their side mids pretty quick, but I strongly encourage you just kind of stick to getting your side down, and then maybe once you feel like you're getting a good comfort on that, maybe try like 1 or 2, and if they go well, maybe you can work on it further.
Okay.
So the difference between their side mids and your side mids, everyone rolls out the same except for your demo. Your demo, instead of rolling out through the left side, bombing up here, you're gonna bomb down here. You're gonna put another sticky down and bomb to here, and then from here you can get your buff, and you're gonna be fighting on the right side. So that means usually your soldier's gonna bomb like here, here, and just kind of land over here. And your flank scout, both your scouts are just going to walk up here immediately and play aggressive on this demo. You're really looking for that demo pick. And then you're looking to just spam out this doorway super heavy so people don't get through here. So this will be like the med and maybe the pocket scout. And then you also got to be kind of aware of, so like while your spam classes, like your soldiers and demo are spamming this out and trapping this off and stuff, your scouts kind of have to be ready for bombers from this side. So probably going to be both their soldiers bombing from here. So
yeah,
definitely a bit of a riskier mid, because if they do flood through here, you're kind of have like, it's extremely hard to like push through here, especially if the demo gets up, because then you're just all eating pipes. It's really hard if you're not fast. You definitely have to commit fast and together.
okay,
I see some demos try to play on the low ground here and just like spam here, because waddling up here, usually you're just going to keep pipes and die or something. So they kind of like play some spam up here first, or like down here first, and then they kind of waddle up once it's a little more safe. That's something to think about maybe. All in all, definitely a bit of an experiment when you're going to their side. Like try aggressive bombing, try just isolating the demo. Maybe you get the demo pick and they just back out. Different stuff to try. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more chaotic than just kind of the bread and butter. Play with your soldiers bomb, walk forward, kind of in a normal mid.
okay.
Those are the two like general mids for Gully. There is some kind of exceptions that you kind of got to keep an eye on. When I say exceptions, I mean just like kind of some trick stuff you can do. As Pocket Scout, you kind of want to keep an eye on drop down a little bit. Alternatively, your Pocket Soldier can do this, but personally, I think Pocket Scout might be better for this, or even Flank Scout. Either that, or you have your roamer just make sure they're calling. Like if they're dying, they need a. Sorry, if your roamer dies, that's when you kind of need to rotate. But your roamer should be like calling this for the most part. Alternatively, if they're not playing anyone lower, your roamer, instead of like just spamming this fast, he can just like bomb from like here into drop down, and you can do it like all like fast enough that most people don't see you when you turn the corner. So kind of a rollout to practice, and they can kind of sit here for a second, and then once you start pressuring, then they can bomb up here and go massive.
Okay.
So definitely some experimental things to be done there. I think that's all I can really think of for kind of trickery shenanigans. Okay, I'll move on to second. Yeah, let's go to second. So second, there's three ways you could, well, two really, ways you should be playing. And that's if you're at Uber disad or you're at even Ubers. If you have Uber ad, you should usually be kind of making a plan on how you are going to be moving forward.
Okay.
And take that Uber. So I will talk about that in a moment.
Good.
So Uber disad, one really important thing on Gully is like a lot of teams, they'll like build somewhere around here. The issue with this is if they come big door with their ad, they're essentially just kind of zoning you out because you need to rotate back here, right? Or up here. But if they come big door and just go like baby door through like here and just kind of cut you off, like all of a sudden when they use Uber into you, you have nowhere to go, right? And you're just going to kind of die. So really, really, really important to be climbing all the time. And climbing just means going up here. So climbing up to height. So generally, as like medic, you can build like somewhere around here. That way you can still kind of have vision on choke and whatnot. And maybe, you're at small disad, so you just want to build out till you're safe, and then you want to kind of come here and play normally.
Good.
But yeah, with disad, you want to be like focusing over here. And if you're at like full disad, honestly, building here is not a bad idea, just because playing here is just super risky. But you obviously don't want to just give up the point for free if it's small disad. But yeah, like I said, full disad, maybe like build around here, buff up your soldier, get ready to like sack your soldier, like rocket, high bomb your soldier. You demo can have traps, try to get the med or just any other pick. You're just trying to slow them down, right? So you have an easier time to hold last.
Right.
Because if you were just to back out and give them this point, now they're gonna have add into last. Whereas here you could like pretty safely get like maybe a pick with trap or a pick with a high bomb, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely trying your luck. I wouldn't sack more than one player, or else you kind of are risking just getting rolled through. The reason why sacking one player kind of works fine is because you generally like most teams they're gonna have their flank scout or they're gonna have someone on the cap, right? So it's gonna be a 5v5 on last if they take the Uber into them. And usually your 6 player is gonna spawn by the time this player is done capping. If you get trap spots, you can definitely trap around here. You can trap in the cone. Here's a really good trap spot right here, because you can spot it from over there. Trapping up here is nice because you can't really see it as you're walking up. Trapping this cone's fine. Even this wall here, because a lot of soldiers will just try to like bomb and try to land like right around here. And then even as you're backing up, you can like trap these corners and shit like that. So lots of options there. With even Ubers, generally, and this is kind of up to team preference. Some teams like to have their demo hold choke. Personally, I think it's best if you have your pocket soldier and your roamer on choke, and then you have your demo and flank scout on big door. Just because I feel like demo can lock out big door a lot better than soldier can. But feel free to kind of experiment. Like you can have your demo and pocket soldier here and just have your roamer scout there. That's kind of the default. But feel free to kind of experiment a little bit. Just make sure you're not stacking too many people on one door or else you're just going to bleed through the other. Yeah, and pocket scout, med will be playing somewhere around here. If your flank wants buffs, they should be kind of coming towards your medic. Your medic shouldn't be going towards them because you don't want to like just leave these people out to dry if they're taking damage. Yeah, I think that's really it for second. If there's any questions, I think that is no. Okay, let's go on to holding mid now. So I'm again going to cover disad. So disad, obviously playing close like this, very bad. You're just going to get used into die. You generally want to be building somewhere back here. And be ready for an Uber from either big door or choke. Or even some teams will go drop down with this Uber and try to catch you off guard by either wrapping you big door while you're backing out or just kind of coming right into you here and bombing their demo up. So just make sure someone's spotting drop down like this. Usually as pocket scout, you can just spot it from here. And then yeah, you're gonna have your flank scout or roamer spotting here, and then demo again. You're just gonna trap one of the 1,000 places to trap there. And yeah, you're gonna be building back here while you're at the disad. And you know what? If the Ubers even out, then you can kind of start taking more space with it. But I'd really focus on like getting Uber before you take any further space. With even Ubers, roamer and flank scout just perfectly fine there. Pocket soldier demo perfectly fine here. As pocket scout, I kind of like playing like somewhere back here because usually people aren't coming through choke. When they're gonna counter sack, they're usually sacking from a big door or they're gonna go drop down. And the nice thing about this is you can kind of just spot drop down by like doing a little like jump like this. Like you can kind of just like peek drop down, see if there's a soldier there, stuff like that. And if there is a soldier there, you can maybe get your demo to try to like peek wide here and just trap this off, and then maybe you get a free soldier pick. So scout maybe a little bit more passive than the explosives because the explosives shouldn't be able to just kind of walk through, and then your med will be sitting somewhere around here, watching kind of everything. Yeah, and then passive your demo med pocket scout. Going to be around here. As long as people are living, again, you can send one soldier stack, similar to sending a soldier on Disad on second. There's a few good places to hide, kind of for a sec. Like you can sit somewhere around here and just kind of bomb through once they come through. You can play under the point is perfectly fine. You can actually stand on these lights as well, which is pretty good. And you can get some pretty nasty stuff there. Sitting in here is totally fine. Some people like hiding in this bush because you can kind of sneaky. So some options there. And then I'll go to holding last. So last, with Disad, the way you're going to hold this is you're going to try to get a sentry gun on the right side generally. Some people like to put it on the left. I say like put it here if you can. But if you're like at full Disad and they're coming in, obviously if you try to move a gun here, they're just going to go right into you and you're going to die. Probably the safest place just to build it is like here. And then maybe if you have time, you can move it to like here. And it might do a little better. You can have a second off class if it's like full ad, like your other scout can go heavy, or even just sniper and just kind of sit somewhere here or here. It's just really important that you're not dying on sniper and you're switching off the second you hear that they use to like heavy or something. Heavy is pretty good if you just like buff them off and keep them in like either secret or right here, or sorry, water, or this is secret. Your demo should always have traps on the point when it's disad. Always, always, always. And then your soldiers can either kind of duck into lobby and try to maybe like pick off a player in lobby or do some damage, and then you want to kind of be playing on some sort of high ground. So a lot of soldiers will like to sit here and just kind of play kind of out of the Uber and then bomb once the Uber starts fading. And then having a soldier getting onto this height while they're trying to cap is really, really important. And that would be disad. So even Ubers, it becomes a little more different. Like you have your demo med scout playing over here. Your flank scout, again, can usually be on NG, even with even Ubers, or even sniper or whatever. Feel free to experiment. And your soldiers should pretty much never be off-classing on this map. They can play like up here, just a little bit passive, and then another one can play either in secret. So what they can do is they'll go down here, and they'll come up to here, and they can just play a little bit of spam like over here, and then just kind of duck out, and they'll play around here again. Alternatively, there's like spamming here, different angles you can kind of get spamming. Demo, you should usually be trapping like river, or you should be trapping like somewhere aggressive here or like here. Stuff like that, different things to try to find picks. That's the general holding and with disad and even for gully. Is there any questions about that? On any of the points? I'll assume we are all good then on that. Next, I'm going to go over some Ubers, so how you can be taking some of your Ubers. I'll start with like going into mid, because I kind of briefly talked about that. You kind of have like two and a half options here, where you can take a Uber through here if you know that they're close, and it's easy to spot if they're close because your flank should be able to kind of make enough space that they can at least peek this and see if they're back here or if they're up here. And if they're forward like that, going through choke is completely fine. You're just most likely going to have to use through choke or be really cautious about where these sticks are. So your soldiers should be like spamming rockets everywhere trying to clear these sticks. And then your scout should be shooting them. So usually I recommend choke if they're close and you want to take an ad Uber into them. Or if their demo's dead, because then you don't have to worry about sticks and you can kind of milk through a little bit more. Just make sure you're spotting some of the potential hiding spots if they're playing passive, and be ready for a soldier bomb, stuff like that, if you're just trying to milk through. If you're trying to use through, definitely like Uber your demo, and then you can do a little like low bomb over around here and just start trapping this off, and then you have your other players flood in, like soldiers will take height, stuff like that, similar to the mid fight. but obviously with Uber ad. Alternatively, and maybe a little bit better in my opinion, you can use through and have your demo bomb from here. What the advantage of this is it's really hard to have it telegraph. Whereas like if they know your big door or your choke, sorry, they're just gonna spam it to all hell, and you're probably gonna get forced as you kind of go through, and they're gonna be ready for it, and bad things will happen.
Okay.
However, if you just use around this corner on your demo, and he bombs up like somewhere around here, and he'll land like somewhere around here, and your scout just runs up here and gets the beam connected to the demo, and then you reflash. They should be trapped off, and you can just kind of clean up these stragglers.
Okay.
Yeah. Alternatively, and I recommend this only if you have like very big ad. What you can do is you can bring your team drop down like this, because a lot of teams they don't really check drop down. They're kind of just ready for either choke or big door. You can take the Uber here, and as you see, they're like, oh shit, they're going big door. They're gonna start backing up, and then you can actually like wrap them here, and potentially have an Uber into them on second. Which will be add. Obviously, your flank scout's going to have to stay back and start the cap, so a little bit more risky, but definitely high risk, high reward. So you can either take the Uber into them here if they're trying to like back out Shutter, maybe. If they're trying to back out height, you can take into lobby here, and just kind of use into them as they're backing out into whatever height. But again, I only recommend it if you have big disad, or sorry, big ad, because the last thing you want is you're like, okay, we have 80%, right? Let's go drop down, right? Now we're gonna go for a big long hike all the way to their thing, and then they're gonna have by the time you're doing all those shenanigans, right? And then maybe they'll fight second, your scout's gonna die, all that shenanigans. So yeah, make sure you have big ad if that's what your plan is there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's mid fights, or sorry, mid pushing mid with Uber. Second, you have kind of again two options. You have the big door, and you have choke. The advantage with big door is you can kind of push into them, like you can kind of spot here, and if you see that they're like playing on height here, with their disad, then you can come through and just play in lobby, because they're going to be forced to come into you, or you can like go up onto height here, and you can take an Uber really on anyone at this point. Like even a soldier Uber will be really good in any of these close spaces, and they're going to be kind of stuck on this height. So you're going to have this like full Uber kind of coming into them, and they're not going to really be able to get out. Just make sure your demo's kind of trapping their exits and stuff like that. Alternatively, if they're playing close choke, you can just kind of come through big door and use into them here, or you can use into them from choke, where you just kind of throw a sticky down here. You're going to do your demo bomb, and, like land somewhere, put a bunch of stickies on the door, make sure they're getting trapped off, and then your soldiers are going to try to bomb and take height here. So whether that's just up here and start spamming, or you can just even go further, one step further, and start bombing up here. Yeah, so that would be like Ubering it to second for the most part. A little bit more textbook, like definitely like the two chokes, you have this kind of option of just coming right through choke here or right through here. And there's definitely more opportunities to milk here, because their demo's not going to be as close. And like the only thing that you really have to worry about, so milking just like coming to the point without using.
Yeah.
Just the few things you got to worry about is like you should be like trying to clear these stickies like that are potentially here a soldier, and then I like to have my pocket soldier bomb through. So you give him a buff and he bombs through like that, and what he can do here like is he can just spot if there's anyone up here, and now your flank scout knows, or your pocket scout sorry knows that A, there's going to be someone probably sacking, and B, you can also see if there's stickies.
Okay.
So stuff to worry about there. So yeah, you can get through this point fairly easily without using, but definitely don't be afraid to use if you're obviously low or you see a soldier high bombing about a sync queue or something. But at the end of the day, it's very important that your pocket soldier is spotting this, and then your pocket scout's going to be the one kind of killing him. And you can delay as medic. Like you can have your pocket soldier bomb through, and then your pocket scout bomb through, and then you delay a little bit. Just not maybe too much. and maybe don't run too far away. Pocket scout so they don't just like do this on you. But you can definitely have like a little bit of bait so that if what their plan is, like if they're gonna high bomb and try to sink rockets on you as you're coming through, you're just kind of sitting there like, lol. Okay. For sacks, I guess I didn't really cover sacks. There's a very hard point to sack on, or a very hard map, just in general. Sacking into mid, honestly, like if you can try to get space big door, like sacking. Oh, that was good. Sacking from here up here is like not a bad idea, and then you can kind of get some space like that. Alternatively, you can try to go drop down. So maybe get a little bit aggressive with your demo and soldier here. Make sure you're again not walking into sticks. You're getting aggressive, and as your pocket and demo are getting aggressive, your roamer's going down here, hugging the right wall just in case there's a scout spotter, and then you're bombing up like this and trying to land on the mid. That'd be probably the best sacks for sacking into mid. For sacking into second, it is really shitty. One thing you can try to do is if you can try to get enough space, you can bomb from here onto here and high let's see if I can do it. It's really annoying, but you can like bomb from here to here and try to get like some sort of a sack going. But what I recommend is trying to get a player behind and set up a sack like a little bit later. So maybe rotate your beam and demo to big door or something. So you have your soldier obviously still locking down that choke there. And your demo's going to start trapping this off. And you're trying to get space for your roamer to get into lobby here. And once he does that, then he can kind of go behind. And he will have a little bit more freedom to like play behind. He can get all these packs and stuff. And when you're trying to sack then, now you have a whole bunch more options because they have to worry about you and you can, get some high bombs and stuff in. And maybe even sack for the demo if he's playing on big door. Like you can do a little bit more with getting a player behind. This can also be a scout too if you feel like a scout's better. Some teams like having a scout go behind, some like having a soldier. Feel free to experiment there, but for sacking into second, it really kind of takes a team effort. It's not just let's have a soldier sack. You definitely kind of need to coordinate with your soldier getting behind here, or else most of the time his sacks are going to be really bad because it's really hard to bomb through choke. If you're bombing up drop down, like again, you're be bombing into sticks, like and it's just really hard to even get a force or even do damage onto their med from coming up drop down. Okay, so that's sacking into mid, into second. Again, I'm just going to go over a few places to hide on mid. So I kind of talked about here. This is a nice one as well. Just bombing up here. Oh god. Awkward. Right here. You can sit up here. Get your arrow, and then as they come through big door or whatever, you're just doing your classic little sink. Here, a pretty good place to hide is like somewhere around here. It's usually this works better on kind of if you fail a push and you maybe died early as a soldier, so you want to sit here and maybe try to salvage the force as they're coming back in to cap second. You can maybe like bomb through here. This is definitely an area to kind of clear. Alternatively, I think there's like a pixel walk there, but I don't know if that's allowed. Here's obviously fine. If you're hiding behind the rock, this is fine. Like somewhere around here, like okay, they're coming in, we're getting ready for a force. If you're sitting somewhere around here, kind of waiting for their med to come through choke, it's getting called, okay, now I'm bombing their med. Or if their med's already walking through, maybe their med's just gonna walk kind of into you here and you can kind of just do your little stuff there. Okay, for last, another really not fun point to push. Really importantly, you're getting the sentry gun down first. So if the sentry gun is on the right side, obviously you can spam it from up here. Just again, be careful of like just eating spam. But if you coordinate both your soldiers together, you can take it down in like literally like 2 seconds as long as you guys are coordinating. And then once that gun's down, again, if gun's on the left side, you can spam it from over here. You can also spam it from here. It becomes more difficult when I was talking about that gun spot earlier, where they play like right here, and you kind of have to do this weird jiggle peek in the middle of like nowhere to get it. So definitely trying to get some coordination there. You can maybe hit it from here, depending on where they put it. Stuff like that, you kind of have to cheese a little bit. But really important, you're trying to get that gun down before you're sending your soldiers to sack. From there, I recommend trying double sacks on this point. So what a double sack is essentially you sack usually a scout and a soldier at the same time to try to get a force, and then if they don't get a force, you just kind of are playing really passive. Why you do this on lasts, specifically like Gullywash, rather than every other point, is because this point is really, really difficult to push out from without like being backcapped or with kind of clearing everything. Because there's players that can hide here, or there's 1,000 places I'll show in a sec. Kind of hide for the backcap. But for a double sack, like your soldier can kind of come through here. That's a fine sack area. You can do a speed shot through here where you think it's like a bomb here, and then you strafe, and I'm not a soldier player, so yeah, it's like that, and then you kind of land on their med there. Alternatively, you gotta clear sticks here in case there is any, and then a sack here is totally fine. Sack through main and shutter usually won't work because there'll be traps. But if the demo's dead, who knows? But at that point, you should probably just take an exchange. While your soldier's doing that, you can try solo sacks. If they're not getting anything on the solo sacks and you find they're really like needing something to spice it up, have your scout go water while your soldier is sacking. And what your scout does is while your soldier's sacking, your scout's just going to sit on point. And now they have to worry about the point time, because if they're all focusing this bomber, the scout's just going to get the cap. And if they are like going down to fight the scout or whatever, and the scout's kind of luring them back here, or they're all like panicking, like, oh shit, we all dropped down to shoot the scout. Now your soldier has a way easier bomb. So kind of coordinate that. Make sure you guys are doing it at the same time to kind of split the most people. But that's definitely an option. Okay, for hiding, if you're gonna hide on last as a scout or whatever, just for backcap, here's a pretty good spot. Kind of a little counter to that spot though that not a lot of people know about is you can actually just see water through the ground here. So yeah, this is that spot.
Huh. Never knew that.
So yeah, nice. Just kind of check. Maybe there's a hider here. Hider in water, you can kind of spot it. I would definitely recommend sending someone water over just doing that.
Yeah.
Another spot that just make sure someone's clearing is the secret around here. Someone should be clearing lobby. There's another spot right here that you can sit on. So here's another cheeky little spot. And it's kind of all these little things that you need to coordinate and call who's clearing what. So you really need to focus on like everyone kind of calming at this point, saying, okay, water's clear, river's clear. Someone says lobby's clear. Okay, wood's clear, wood being this area. So there's kind of like a few like big red flags that you need to be checking. So you can just you can easily check this spot as soldier. And then just kind of peek over here, just making sure you guys are clearing these doors. Because yeah, some scouts will just like sit here, and then like they'll go run here, and then just running to last, and then at that time they'll just send like a soldier to bomb point, so it'll deny the cap, and Bob's your uncle. Okay, any questions or anything I kind of missed? I feel like I tried to touch on everything. But I do gotta bounce here pretty quick, so.
Did we want him to go over callouts real quick, or are we pretty good on that?
I think we're good.
All right.
Nope. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll get back to you when I can.
All right, man. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Take it easy. Peace.